The world is changing fast, in ways that few could have predicted just a decade ago. Every day headlines remind us that the global order we once took for granted is shifting beneath our feet. From economic upheavals to technological revolutions, the pace of change is relentless, and Europe finds itself at a crossroads. The old certainties that once anchored our continent are fading. The alliances and partnerships that shaped our security and prosperity are no longer as reliable as they once seemed. Europe can no longer afford to look to the past for answers. We must confront the reality of a new era. For decades, we depended on the United States for security and stability, trusting in the transatlantic bond to keep us safe. American leadership was the cornerstone of our defense, and NATO was the shield that protected our way of life. But that era is ending, and the world is moving on. Signals from Washington, debates over NATO funding, wavering support for Ukraine, and shifting rhetoric make it clear Europe must take charge of its own destiny. The uncertainty in American politics and foreign policy is a wake-up call for all Europeans. Relying on a partner whose commitment is uncertain is a strategic risk we can't afford. Our security cannot hinge on decisions made thousands of miles away, subject to the changing winds of another nation's politics. We must be prepared to stand on our own. The shift in American priorities is long-term, with the U.S. increasingly focused on Asia and the Pacific. Their attention is turning to new challenges, new rivals, and new opportunities far from European shores. This is not a temporary phase, but a fundamental realignment. Europe must accept that the America of the past is gone. A more inward-looking nation has emerged, preoccupied with its own divisions and domestic concerns. The era of automatic American engagement in European affairs is over, and we must adapt. European strategic autonomy isn't anti-American. It's about responsibility for our own security and prosperity. It means building the capacity to act when needed, to defend our interests, and to support our neighbors without waiting for help from across the Atlantic. We must ensure the EU has the tools to defend its values and interests in a more unpredictable world. This means investing in our own defense, strengthening our economies, and standing up for democracy and human rights wherever they are threatened. This is our generation's challenge: to build a strong, sovereign Europe, a true partner to our allies, but master of its own fate. We must inspire a new sense of purpose, unity, and ambition, so that Europe can thrive in a world where nothing is guaranteed. The time for action is now. We cannot wait for another crisis to force our hand. The decisions we make today will shape the future of our continent for decades to come. The work must begin without delay. Europe's future depends on our willingness to act boldly, to take responsibility, and to stand together as one. Only then can we secure our place in a rapidly changing world. Europe's independence starts with economic strength. Our prosperity is tied to the global economy, but over-reliance on the US, especially the dollar and American tech, limits our freedom. US policies and sanctions can directly impact European businesses, making us vulnerable. To be sovereign, we must reduce these dependencies and build resilience. This means strengthening our internal market, diversifying trade, and developing financial infrastructure that supports European interests. We need to foster innovation, invest in our industries, and complete projects like the Single Market for Services and the Capital Markets Union. By building a dynamic, integrated economy, we create jobs, prosperity, and true independence. Internal strength is the foundation for global influence. Europe's single market is our greatest asset, but we're not using its full potential. To reduce dependence on exports, we must boost demand within the EU. Strategic investments in green and digital infrastructure will drive growth and competitiveness. Empowering citizens with fair wages and strong social safety nets creates a stable consumer base. Completing the single market for services, over 70% of our economy, will unlock massive growth. Breaking down barriers allows businesses to thrive across borders. A stronger social Europe is a more resilient Europe. By unleashing our home market, we build prosperity and independence. Europe must stay open to the world, but not dependent on any single partner. Diversifying trade, deepening ties with Latin America, Africa, Asia, and others, builds resilience. Ambitious fair trade agreements open markets and promote our values. Initiatives like the Global Gateway invest in infrastructure abroad, creating new trade corridors and securing supply chains. A diverse portfolio of partners gives us flexibility and freedom in foreign policy. When one market closes, we can pivot to others. Diversification is the essence of economic sovereignty. Finance is key to economic sovereignty, shaping the destiny of nations and their ability to chart their own course. Yet, despite Europe's economic strength, too much of our capital continues to flow across the Atlantic to the United States, fueling growth and innovation abroad instead of at home. This outflow means that European savings and investments are often used to build companies and fund technologies elsewhere, rather than strengthening our own economy and supporting our people. Completing the Capital Markets Union will help reverse this trend, keeping investment within Europe's borders. By doing so, we can channel more resources into our own innovation, industries, and infrastructure. This means more funding for cutting-edge research, modern factories, and the next generation of European entrepreneurs. It also means that European pension funds and savers can benefit directly from the growth of our own companies, rather than relying on returns from foreign markets. A unified capital market is a powerful engine for growth. It helps startups access the funding they need to scale up and become global leaders, rather than being forced to sell out or move abroad. This keeps control of key technologies and intellectual property at home, ensuring that Europe remains at the forefront of innovation. It also creates more high-quality jobs and opportunities for young people across the continent. A stronger, more integrated euro reduces our reliance on the US dollar, giving Europe a bigger and more influential voice in global finance. This means we can better protect our interests, set our own standards, and respond more effectively to global economic challenges. It also makes the euro a more attractive currency for international trade and investment. Harmonizing financial rules and regulations across the EU is a complex and challenging task, requiring cooperation and trust between member states. But the payoff is immense. A single, unified market that is more efficient, transparent, and resilient. This will make it easier for businesses to raise capital, for investors to find opportunities, and for the entire European economy to grow stronger together. A robust capital market is essential for funding our strategic priorities, from advanced defense technologies to the green energy transition. With more investment staying in Europe, we can support critical sectors without relying on outside help, ensuring our security, sustainability, and independence for generations to come. The Capital Markets Union is not just a policy, it is a cornerstone for Europe's economic future. It will help us compete globally, create new opportunities, and build a more prosperous and resilient continent for all Europeans. Now is the time to unlock our full potential. By working together, we can build a stronger, more united Europe, one that leads the world in innovation, opportunity, and shared prosperity. Security is the second pillar of autonomy, and the war in Ukraine has laid bare just how much Europe relies on the United States for its safety and defense. The conflict has been a wake-up call, showing that our security is not fully in our own hands. As we watch events unfold on our doorstep, it's clear that Europe's future depends on our ability to stand on our own 2 feet. The ongoing debates in the American Congress over whether to send aid to Ukraine highlight a vulnerability that Europe can no longer afford to ignore. Our security should not hinge on the outcome of political arguments thousands of miles away. Every delay, every hesitation, puts our continent at risk. Right now, Europe is not fully prepared to defend itself independently. Our military capabilities are stretched thin, and our forces often lack the resources and coordination needed for rapid response. This gap leaves us exposed in a world where threats can emerge quickly and unpredictably. Our defense spending is scattered across nations, leading to duplication and inefficiency. The European industrial base, once a powerhouse, now struggles to keep pace with modern demands. Without a unified approach, we cannot build the strength we need. Building a credible European defense does not mean turning our backs on NATO or our American allies. Instead, it means developing the capacity to act alone if circumstances demand it, ensuring that Europe can protect itself and contribute more meaningfully to the alliance. To achieve this, we need a fundamental shift, from dependency to responsibility. This requires real investment, deeper cooperation between nations, and a shared vision for our collective security. Only by working together can we build the capabilities we need. Europe must be ready to protect its borders, manage crises both at home and abroad, and uphold a rules-based international order. Our ability to respond to emergencies, deter aggression, and support peace is essential for our stability and prosperity. Achieving security autonomy is the ultimate test of European sovereignty. It's about having the freedom to make our own choices and the strength to defend them. This is not just a matter of policy, but of identity and destiny. The time to forge our own shield is now. By investing in our defense, uniting our efforts, and embracing responsibility, Europe can secure its future and stand strong in a changing world. Europe must spend more and spend smarter on defense. Meeting and exceeding NATO's 2% target is essential, but so is closing capability gaps exposed by the Ukraine war. We need modern equipment, better training, and a revitalized defense industry. Joint procurement and long-term contracts will boost production and innovation. Defense investment must be shared. Security in Europe is indivisible. Common EU funding can ensure all members contribute. By investing together, we show unity and determination. Europe must be ready to defend itself. True defense autonomy comes from deep cooperation, not just spending. 27 separate militaries mean inefficiency. Integration is our force multiplier. Joint procurement, standardized equipment, and shared training make us stronger and more effective. Initiatives like PESCO and the European Defense Agency provide the framework. We need the will to use them. Integrated command structures and joint exercises build trust and readiness. Specialized multinational units can address cyber and strategic needs. The goal: a credible European defense union, not necessarily a single army, but integrated forces ready to act. Together, we build a shield stronger than any nation alone. Sovereignty is also about political independence and protecting our democracy. Europe must defend its elections and institutions from foreign interference and disinformation. Stronger regulation of social media platforms is essential to safeguard our public square. The EU must move toward faster, majority-based foreign policy decisions to act decisively. Championing our values, democracy, human rights, rule of law, strengthens our global influence. We must use our economic and diplomatic power to support democracy worldwide. A united, agile Europe is respected and effective. Political autonomy completes the foundation of sovereignty. Europe's path to sovereignty is clear but demanding. We must reclaim economic strength, build our own shield, and strengthen our political voice. This means a resilient economy, a credible defense, and agile, united decision-making. The task requires courage, vision, and unity. From the ashes of war, we built peace. Now we must adapt again. By acting together, Europe can shape its own future. The time to act is now.